brothers and sisters in the risen Lord, second week of Lent, Thursday. Riches without charity are nothing worth. They are a blessing only to Him who make them a blessing for others, said by H. Fielding. The Master was once concerned with one of his disciples who was becoming more and more materialistic and worldly. The Master was concerned with one of his disciples who was becoming more and more materialistic and worldly. One day he invited him to study and led him to his window. Pointing to a playground, the Master asked him, "What do you see?" The disciple replied, "I see a playground, a lot of children and men playing in it." Then the Master took a little hand mirror and held it in front of his face. "Now tell me, what do you see?" The disciple said, "I see my face." Then the Master looked into the eye of his disciple and said, "See, what has happened to you? When a little silver comes between you and the world, you see yourself. You see only yourself." In today's Gospel, Jesus narrated the parable of a rich man and Lazarus. During this season of Lent, if this parable does not wake us up from our self-centeredness and insensitivity to people's pain, our slumber will wake us up only in heaven, only in hell. Let's note 1. The pleasure of the rich man. The rich man, who is not named in the parable, had all the pleasure which money could provide. He lived a life of royal magnificence and boundless luxury. Everybody he dressed himself in the best of clothes in purple and linen. Every day he dressed himself in the best of clothes in purple and linen. They see purple was the most precious and rare dye, and a dress dyed in sea purple was a royal gift, scarcely worn even by princes and nobles. But this rich man was dressed in purple and fine linen for his diner every day. He boasted a sumptuous dinner every day, and his banquet hall was filled with the royal guests, and his antechambers were filled with the servants. He was a man who lived in an unimaginable luxury. All the best things which money could afford, he had with him and enjoyed. 2. The sin of the rich man. The fact that the rich man had another abundant wealth at his disposal was not sinful. His riches were not the cause of his condemnation. He did not lead a vicious life. He was not accused of drunkenness or of philandering with women. He is not depicted as a monster who lusted after others' blood. He almost took a life of a perfect gentleman who does not even trouble the beggar Lazarus at his gate or throw him out from his gate as being an eyesore. Then what is the sin of the rich man? His great sin which condemned him was his worldliness and extreme insensitivity to human sufferings. God has generously given him wealth so that he might glorify his maker and provider. Instead of glorifying his master and provider, he used his possession only to gratify his sense of pleasures. He was also extremely insensitive to human suffering. While he lavishly spent his money for his costly purple and fine linen garments and sumptuous dinners every day, he never spared anything for the poor, suffering man. At his gate there was that poor beggar Lazarus in all his want and misery, and the rich man never even acknowledged his presence. Let alone ease his want and pain, the misery, poverty, and pain of others. The misery, pain, and poverty of others did not affect him his daily sumptuous partying. He continues the daily partying with caring a bit for the misery of the other people. His worldliness and extreme insensitivity condemned and sealed his doom. Third, the condemnation of the rich man. While the beggar Lazarus say better days after his death, the rich young man was condemned to miserable existence of hell or in hell. Being in torment in hell, when he lifted his eyes, he saw Lazarus in Abraham's bosom. Lazarus was now in heaven and he is in hell. His misery was aggravated by the happiness of Lazarus. The rich man was separated from Abraham and Lazarus by a huge chasm. He who did not care much to bridge the gulf between the rich and the poor on his earth is now separated by a huge, everlasting, and a miserable gulf in hell. He showed no mercy upon this earth, and now mercilessly he is condemned. The rich man made two petitions to Abraham, and both were rejected. He prayed that Lazarus might dip his finger in water and cool his tongue. And he also prayed that Abraham might send Lazarus to warn his 5 brothers who lived in the world. While we are upon the earth, while we are upon this earth, we have the privilege of getting our prayers unanswered. But once we are dead and condemned, our prayers become ineffective. May God bless you all. Amen.